want to give you a little summary of the first Thanksgiving. Because right now, not all schools are teaching history like they used to. Some schools are trying to X out all these parts of history that used to be commonplace and people knew, right? So the Pilgrims that set voyage to come to America, they were 2 months at sea, right? They ended up landing in Cape Cod, Plymouth, right? Plymouth and Cape Cod. They were actually trying to land south of there, but with the strong currents and the winds, they couldn't land where they would have. And that was Providence, because if so, the natives that were there were hostile natives, but where they landed, they found a totally different thing, a warm reception, an amazing thing, right? When they landed, what was the first thing they did? They started building a church and 11 homes. In the journey that they did, 47 of the 102 pilgrims died in the journey from the bitter cold situation and sea and all that. They died. The pilgrims, when they landed and met the Indians, led them to Christ, translated the Bible into their language. Most of the Indians that they came in contact with came to a saving faith in Jesus. One of the famous named Indians that we've heard of, Squanto, on his deathbed, not yet a Christian yet, he was their interpreter for a lot of their travels, asked the pilgrims if they would pray for him so he could meet the God that they've been speaking about all this time, and that he would end up in that God's heaven. Another Indian named Habomak was saved after a prayer meeting for rain. There'd been no rain. It was suggested that he pray, and so he was praying and doing his Indian things he would do for rain, but it was so affected by how the Indians petition God rather than just the normal procedures they would do to try to entice rain, that they were depending on the God who made the world. He got saved after that prayer meeting. The Indian chief they came in contact with, Massasoit, came to know Christ and had 3 sons and gave them all biblical names. 2 more things. It has been said Columbus discovered the new land, but the pilgrims established a new world. And America became the greatest mission-sending country in the history of the world. No one over these 400 years has even been a close second place. America has helped transform the world and bring the gospel to nation after nation, tongue after tongue, language after language, tribe after tribe around the world. The pilgrims were so thankful that God blessed their journey and that they established a new world. They made a feast, and they invited every single person to come to this feast. And this feast lasted like a week. And what they did is they ate, they celebrated, and they gave thanks to God. Not just one trivial prayer, God, we thank you for all you did, but they thanked God. And they thanked God. Even though they had loss of 47 of them, they didn't blame that on God. That was the sacrifice needed